Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division with various wins for the new course in Golf Clash called East Lake Golf Club for the Tour Championship starting the 24th of August here in Golf Clash the game. Before we take a closer look at everything, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button on the video. Also subscribe here to the YouTube channel and turn on the notifications. For those of you that do want to take the advantage of the free 7-day trial is active for everyone that do sign up to any tournament guide package as late as the 23rd of August on patreon.com/golfclashtommy. You have the link in the description down below. You can also scan the QR code here on the screen and you sign up and see for yourself how our guides will improve your game. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also what ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that also all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there is always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number 1. For the drive here on hole number 1, or for hole 1 in general, we're gonna play a very short par 4, and you will see this on many of the holes here in this playthrough that we are playing very short par 4s. So I'm starting at the top of plus at 10, which is with a poke 5 plus. A poke 4 is going to start at max P3 line, 5.8 top spin, 3 left spin, max no elevation P3 numbers, and I'm using, as you can see here, 3/4 of a ball in left curl. Max overpower with a completely slow needle, and look now that we are bouncing on the fairway and roll up and being very close to green. Here you can see already that using a ball with more power will allow you to get even closer to green and maybe even on to the green for a even simpler way of getting the eagle. But if we end up where I am right now, we're gonna play this wedge uphill, and it's very important here now to have the aim point to be either on the fringe or on the green. If we're using the fairway spot before the, like in between the rough and the fringe, you're going to be in a little issue there due to the very glitchy ball guidelines. So I'm moving up my target to bounce on the fringe, applying backspin to have the ball guideline to go into the hole, and then I'm playing a standard EB school, which is EB school plus 10% elevation with then whatever power ball that I'm using. So in this instance, I'm using a power 3 ball, and therefore I'm using power 3 ball numbers. Center the ball and hit perfect, and we're gonna see this as a very good chance to start off the Tour Championship with an eagle. Hole number 2 is very similar to hole number 1 and any other par 4 here on the East Lake Golf Club. That is that it's very short and we're gonna get ourselves close to the green. Now, here I'm playing in headwind and I'm using QB at max P3 rest to set up my position a little bit further back, using 5 top spin and 1 right spin. Once I found that spot, I'm swapping to an apoc and whatever wedge I want to use. Max no elevation P3 numbers, max overpower with a slower needle. Here you can use, once again, a ball with more power to allow yourself to get up on the right hand side and have a more open wedge towards the pin. However, though, if it is headwind, I would just say to play the way that I'm doing here in the video, because this is going to allow for a very simple wedge, which is going to be maybe with a straight headwind if we are lucky, or like this is a very close to being a straight headwind. But you can see there on the right hand side of the green, there is an open path there that you can roll the ball up and actually be on green for a longer putt, or you have a wedge that has no bunker or rough in the way. But in headwind, that's going to require a ball with more power, whereof in crosswind and in tailwind, you could most likely get there without having to use anything better than a power 3 ball. But once again, super short par 4 where an eagle has to be a must, or is going to be a must if you want to compete for the top positions. Perfect ball, and it rolls up onto the green. Here we're playing EB school with no elevation, as we play this one more uphill than hole 1, for an example. On the drive here on hole number 3, this is a very open fairway that we're playing at. So here we're just gonna try to get the ball as far down the fairway possible without putting ourselves in any risk of getting into the rough on the left or on the right. Obviously the bunkers are there, but I see the bunkers to be a very unlikely outcome here when we do have so much fairway to bounce on. All the topspin that you can use together with some right spin, I'm adjusting max no elevation P3 numbers and going max OP with a slower needle. Now you can see that I'm not using all the topspin on my epoch, and the reason for that is that I want people to feel that even if they do not have an Apocalypse level 8, that they can actually replicate this type of drive. But if I would be going into a tournament situation and I would be playing truly for the drop here, then I would definitely recommend to go with all the topspin that you can, because that will leave you a much shorter shot than what we will be doing now. Now I press the drive, we're gonna go back and I'm gonna press the second shot instead, because that's the one we're gonna look at. Because second shot, we're gonna play with Grizzly, and we're gonna be fairly close to the min line, around 25% of our club. And this is going to be a very makeable drop here. And my recommendation is to actually try to find, not actually, but try to find a flat spot on the fairway to bounce up onto the green by using first bounce on fairway, second bounce on green, instead of having to roll a long way. You can see here now that I'm checking a little bit when it comes to the distance. It's purely for my own self when trying to get some early notes and stuff like that to see where I am club-wise and not just making a total guess. Minus 10% elevation is what I'm playing here, because this is an uphill play. You can see here now from the fairway that the pin stands higher up than where the ball is at the moment. That means that it's uphill, and the ball will then be affected less by the wind, which is a very nice thing to have, because that means less adjustment and a much more likely drop from distance. For hole number 4, here we do have actually a quite tricky par 3. I would say 4 and 9 are the two holes that stands out of being the trickiest of the 9 holes that we're playing in the Tour Championship. So what I'm looking to do is to use the Goliath. I'm aiming at the very edge of the rough line when I do have a headwind or a crosswind. If I do have a tailwind, I would recommend to aim a little bit further back, otherwise the ball will land over the rough and that will shoot you into the back rough, and that's not what we want to do. A three right spin ball or a side spin 3 ball is what we're looking for to use. Mid plus 10 with the Goliath, and then we will see a perfect ball be very close. Obviously needs wind angle tweaks and such to be absolutely spot on, but a good chance for a drop. If you do want to take a more safer route, you can bounce on the fairway before the green. The problem with that is that you're going to have a very high first bounce, so it's going to be very difficult to dial a shot like that in. Last but not least, you do have a backspin boost option where you can land directly on the green, but it would require a special ball. Take your game to the next level with our Ultimate Tournament Text Guides for Expert and Master Division for the Tour Championship starting the 24th of August in Golf Clash the game. The free 7-day trial is active for all of you that do sign up to any of our tournament guide packages as latest the 23rd of August. So try for yourself and see how the guides that we provide will improve your game. You will also notice that we do have tour guides, we have checkpoint challenge guides, so we have something for each of all the game modes. Last but not least, golfclashtommy.com, your place to find free content when it comes to Golf Clash, all from wind information, ball information, club information, to latest information about the Tour Championship when it comes to simple elevations, and also some playthroughs, note sheets, and stuff like that. So check that out. You have the link to golfclashtommy.com in the description down below. So scan the QR code here on the screen, or use the link to patreon.com/golfclashtommy for the free 7-day trial. Sign up today and improve your game. Hole number 5, we do have a short par 4 here where we are putting our target, as you can see, very high up on the fairway, starting at the top of plus 10, which is going to be max for a puck 4, but a puck 5 plus starts at the top of plus 10. Now, I'm going to try to trickle the ball in between the rough on the left and the rough on the right to be either on green or to be very close to the green. Max no elevation on the drive. Here I'm pushing the rings when I do have the wind coming right to left due to the trees otherwise be in my face. Center ball hit perfect, and you can see here now that we are rolling very nicely in between the two rough patches. Here obviously you can push this one a bit harder by trying to somewhat bounce over the bunker in the rough there on the right, but I see no reason of taking the risk of playing trying to bounce over that, as we do have that open fairway on the left. When it comes to the second shot, we're gonna play an EB school plus a 10 with whatever Powerball number that you do use. So here you can see that we are then stretching out to max to check where max line is, and then we're taking a look in where the pin stands in relation to the max club. Ball guideline to hole, playing this one no spin. Obviously, if you do play with the high levels such as EB7 and EB8, you can play a max top spin version, which is minus 35%. Perfect ball it is, and we're getting this one in for a simple eagle. Hole number 6 is a little bit longer than the other par 4s. It's still short enough to get ourselves close to green, but if there is any one that will cause us any sort of trouble, it's going to be this one in headwind, I would say. Here I'm playing an NMT. We're playing max plus a 10 as our adjustment. I'm playing an NMT with a P3 ball, has to be said as well. I was hoping to a P5 ball. This to allow for a completely slow needle here with max OP. And I'm using approx 1.8 ball of left curl. Using 5.8 topspin to left spin, and the intention here is to have the ball bounce on the fairway and then roll up to the right side of the green like that, and we do have a very short and simple wedge. When it comes to the wedge, we're going to play standard EB school like we have been doing on the other par 4s, and here we're going to play with an EB school plus 15% elevation with the no spin numbers. And obviously now with more or less a direct tailwind from where we are, there's going to be loads of room, and I do think you can actually drop this shot without even have to adjust anything when you have put the ball guideline in the hole. So again, EB school plus 15 with whatever power ball that you're using as number. So this is a power 5 ball, and we're gonna get this one in the hole for an eagle. Needle swings so slow. Perfect. There we go. All right. Dropping dead center for the eagle. Hole number 7 is the shortest of the par 4s, and the thing here is that if you do have a tailwind, and I would say that if you have a crosswind as well, you can push to get this ball to go directly onto the green. But when you do have a headwind, we're gonna have to lay up in some way, and that is what I'm doing, using quarterback to start at the max P0 line, using a 3 side spin ball here. You don't have to use a kingmaker, you can use a katana as well if you would like. 1.5 top spin, 3 left spin, and the adjustment is max no elevation. Once adjusted, we are going to apply full curl to the left with circle drop overpower, or sorry, just before circle drop overpower. Now we want the ball to bounce on the fairway and roll up to be as close to the final rough line. The closer we are, the shorter the wedge will be, and the easier that will be also. So again, if you do have a tailwind or a crosswind, you can attack the pin directly, but in a headwind like that, we're going to have to lay up and we're going to have to rely on our wedge to be our best friend in this scenario. Standard EB School here as well, with the EB School plus a 10% elevation, and that's a no spin. I do recommend to play the no spin always. This due to we don't really have room to use the max top spin method here. And last but not least, as always, we're using the power ball number, which is a P3 ball, which is the same as the power on the ball that we are using to play with. Center the ball, hit perfect. I'm going to let the needle slow a little bit so I can center the ball properly. There we go. And we can bounce on the green, rolls up, dead center for the eagle. Hole number 8, which is the final of the two par 3s. Here from the second tee, I'm going for a rough bump. This, as playing with a direct bounce on the fairway, would require a lot of backspin, and then we would not really have a good ball guideline. Inner ring to be by the rough line, ball guideline through the hole. The spins will vary depending on what type of wind direction you have off tee. If you have a tailwind, you're going to need less. If you have a more direct headwind, you're going to need more than what we are using in the video. Medium distance plus 10. We'll make the adjustment, and then we're going to center the ball and hit. Perfect. Perfect ball here will always be around the hole if you do have the correct adjustment and spins. And I do feel that this is going to be the best opportunity that we do have to drop the hole in one. But once again, this is very similar in terms of ideas of how to play the par 3 as hole number 4, where we can play bouncing on the fairway to the green. It's going to need a lot of backspin. We can also use a backspin boost and go directly onto the green, but would require a special ball. But this, by far, especially when you do not have a bunker in your face, when you're trying to aim, then hole number 8 is the easiest par 3 if we compare to hole 4. On hole number 9, if we do have a crosswind or a headwind, we're going to have to lay up, and to lay up to be as close to the first rough line. If we are forced doing that, the eagle is going to be the most likely outcome in the end, where the albatross will be a bonus drop in my opinion, because that shot is going to be difficult to drop from distance. However though, if we do have a tailwind, we can push the drive harder and actually get over the water if we do have at least 6+ bars of topspin, and then the second shot is going to be much more makeable, and it's going to be a much more fun hole to play. Now, it's very important that you get the ball to roll preferably a little bit longer than what I'm having here in the video. We would like to have, if possible, like a 5 to 10 yards longer to be able to play with the sniper. Because if you don't have the distance enough, or let's say that you are a little bit scared of that rough or water, then I would recommend to use like Cataclysm or a big dog to give yourself more distance. But that's going to then make the second shot be much more difficult to drop. Now, on the second shot, position myself with the yellow ring to be by the rough line, ball guideline to be way right of the hole. This because the wind will push the ball right to left. And we're using 10% elevation and then true club distance. This is, once again, going to be a difficult drop, as you could see there on the green, also that the green is not flat, it slopes, and it will then be hard to get a consistent bounce up here, especially from that long distance. Getting closer for an albatross, but again, tailwind of tee, this hole is going to be pretty fun to play, where crosswind and headwind is not really going to be that fun. Thank you so much everybody for watching this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division for the Tour Championship and the new course in Golf Clash called the East Lake Golf Club. Make sure to scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy that is in the description down below. Then you will get access to the free 7-day trial that you can then try the best guides on the market, the ultimate tournament text guide for expert and master division. Perfect now with the free entry for the Tour Championship. Thank you so much once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.